because I put out an interview with Will Smith grabbing Alfonso Rivera, squeezing his and trying to put his finger in his, right?
What initially circulated as quiet whispers about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith began to grow louder when two very different narratives emerged at the same time. The first involves a lawsuit filed by a former collaborator of Will's, violinist Brian King Joseph, a classically trained musician who previously competed on America's Got Talent. According to court filings, Will hired Brian in 2024 to contribute musically to an album and perform at select events. By 2025, Brian alleges he was fully integrated into Will's tour. During that period, Brian claims the two spent extended time together, during which Will allegedly told him they shared a unique bond unlike any other. Brian says the situation took a troubling turn during a tour stop at a hotel. After misplacing his room key and later recovering it with help from Will's team, he returned to find signs suggesting someone had entered his room without consent.
Liz, this is all new. What else are we learning about these allegations, including the alleged intrusion?
Yeah, Kate, so according to the complaint, this all happened in March of last year while the violinist was on tour with Will Smith for Smith's global tour for his latest album based on a true story. And according to the complaint, there was this intrusion at his Las Vegas hotel room. He came back to his hotel, he says, and found that there was no forced entry, but that someone had entered the room and left a number of items there. And according to the complaint, there was a letter, a handwritten letter that was written that said, "Brian, I'll be back, just us," with a drawn heart. And it was signed by someone who identified as Stone F. There were also wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, a bottle of HIV medication with another person's name on it, an earring, and hospital discharge paperwork belonging to a person that was unknown to the defendant. So the defendant, his name is Brian King Joseph. He then reported this to police, the hotel staff, and he also said he reported it to Smith's management team. But he claims that he was then shamed by Will Smith's management team, accused of lying, and he says he was then fired. And then shortly after he was fired, they said they were going in a different direction, but then they ended up hiring another violinist. So he is now suing for, among other things, emotional distress and economic loss, Kate.
And Liz, how are Smith and his attorney responding?
Well, they're adamantly denying all of these claims. Smith's attorney has released a statement. We can read it here. It says, "Mr. Joseph's allegations concerning my client are false, baseless, and reckless. They are categorically denied, and we will use all legal means available to address these claims and to assure that the truth is."
As a result, Will Smith is now facing a civil lawsuit alleging harassment and wrongful termination. While Brian's legal team has also raised claims of inappropriate conduct, they acknowledge that substantiating those specific allegations may be challenging. Even so, the termination itself is central to the case and remains under legal scrutiny. Regardless of how the lawsuit ultimately unfolds, the allegations unsettled many observers. Some initially dismissed the story, but attention intensified when a second figure entered the conversation, Will's former close friend of nearly 4 decades, brother Bilal. In a recent interview, Bilal made a series of explosive assertions and announced an upcoming book that he says will expose what he describes as dark, long-hidden secrets involving Will and Jada, along with broader allegations implicating powerful figures in the entertainment industry.
And there was another interview with TMZ just after that where one of the cameramen asked Jada, "Hey Jada, have you seen Will with any men before?" And her answer was no. So now that's a lie too, because I put out an interview with Will Smith grabbing Alfonso Rivera, squeezing his and trying to put his finger in his, right? So I think you played part of that on one of the interviews. So we're just getting people updated because I'm sure you have a lot of new winos since 2 years.
One of Bilal's most striking claims involved actor Bryce Gray, who previously appeared on the television series Empire. According to Bilal, Bryce became connected to Will through mutual industry contacts and appeared to be under a form of mentorship at the time. Bilal alleges that Bryce later began displaying erratic behavior and struggling privately. He claims that, during a conversation, Bryce confided that something deeply traumatic had occurred involving influential people in the industry. Details Bilal says left him shocked. Bilal maintains he told Bryce that what was described sounded criminal in nature.
No other way to put it. This dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right?
The same thing he's doing now.
Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on, right? So I'm like, I pull him to the side, right? And I said, listen, I'm here to help you and so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. Everybody seem like they love you. Okay. I want to love you because everybody else love you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, you know. He said, you know Will me. You know Diddy made me his. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo, listen. So I grabbed my husband. I said, listen, I don't know. I didn't know what happened. Nothing. I was just asked to come.
Is this true?
Yeah. No. I'm gonna let you about to see if it's true from the paperwork. Oh, we telling something that got paperwork involved. Let me get to the paperwork. So at this point, I'm crying because I feel his pain. Like I could kind of tell when somebody phony and all, but it was the pain where the snot was coming out his nose. His nose was bleeding. He in the corner screaming, balled up, right? Like I could feel his pain, like he had been forced to do something. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, well, listen, let me find out what's going on. He said, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Right? So I'm like, Yaz, I'm like, yo, just relax. I said, everything gonna be okay, you know? And he was like, no, they gonna get me if I say something. They gonna get me if like he's spazzing.
The law further alleges that after this disclosure, Bryce received financial assistance and other forms of support, and that the matter was quietly smoothed over and faded from public view without accountability.
So whenever Charlie Mack came down, I think they gave him some money, whatever they promised him, right? So as time go on, he's still having effects from being, he's still having effects of alleged
okay.
and the allege of Diddy's in the studio.
Allegedly.
Yeah, all allegedly at this point. Okay. So now, so I had to leave the show because he was just acting irate. Like his behavior got so diabolical and so repugnant that I couldn't even be around it, right? So as I was leaving and he knew I was leaving, he actually was hurt that I was leaving. And he started telling everybody on set what was going on, that I knew that Will and Diddy allegedly.
Oh,
okay, so now I gotta get my lawyers involved. Now we come to paperwork, right? So I let him know that I was gonna sue him. That's number one.
Sue who?
Sue Yaz. Because two things happened. Number one, the money he was supposed to pay, he didn't pay me because Will was going responsible for the bulk payment. Then he was going around telling people I knew about these sexual assaults against him, you know? And so what happened with that was the lawyers got involved. Then Charlie and Will arranged a lawyer for Bryshere. So they was telling me like, look, B, let this thing go. So I'm not letting nothing go. And this is to Will and Charlie allegedly telling them that I need an NDA from this dude. Because this dude, whatever y'all got me involved in is something dangerous and filthy and diabolical. So they was like, well, we can't do that. So we'll pay you to sign an NDA with him. And I'm like, yo, I don't want your filthy money. I want this guy to stop saying that I know that you and Diddy did something.
These assertions prompted some to re-examine the violinist's lawsuit through a different lens. While there is no proven link between the two situations, the perceived similarities led some to question whether a broader pattern might exist, specifically, whether mentorship relationships were being misused. It's important to stress that these are allegations, not established facts. During the same interview, Bilal made numerous additional claims, including references to secret groups, concealed personal relationships, and hidden recordings involving celebrities, none of which have been independently verified.
I also talked about Jada and Will ties to Scientology, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I said, from my point of view, they were Scientologists, period. They were recruiting other people into Scientology. They opened a Scientology school. So all this stuff is happening, and they keep saying, wow, we're not Scientologists. I know why they not trying to say they Scientologists.
Why is that?
They know what they were doing in Scientology. So let me just
What were
say,
they
for
doing in
example, let's take one of their good friends in Scientology by a guy named Danny Masterson.
Okay, shout out to Danny Masterson.
No, you don't want to shout him out.
Oh, I'm just-
Danny Masterson.
introducing him.
Yeah, he's in jail for women in Scientology and received, I think it was 30 years or 30 to life. So no shout out. We taking that shout out back. We taking that shout out
Well,
back.
he's where he's supposed to be.
And he's the actor from the 70s show. So he's famous. So it's not like it's just a regular guy. But what people said was within that trial that there have been a lot of celebrities that have come through Scientology and have abused people within Scientology, both men and women. We're talking about here, right? This is on the record. So now I'm gonna leave it up to everybody else until we get to that part in court, why I feel that Will and Jada have committed sexual crimes from my point of view, things that I've saw and documented, that they have committed crimes on other men and women within Scientology.
All of these claims remain unproven and unsubstantiated. Even so, the interview spread rapidly online due to the shocking nature of the accusations. Bilal also stated that he fears for his personal safety after speaking publicly. He claims the consequences went beyond intimidation, alleging that he was once involved in a serious accident that nearly took his life and that he believes the Smiths were somehow connected, an assertion for which no evidence has been presented.
I got a driver, Fernando, that would drive me around. You know, in Colombia, everything's cheap. So he'd drive me around, run errands, do everything that I need to do. Kind of like an assistant, right? So we're pulling up to my apartment in Colombia. And when I pull up to my apartment in Colombia, there are a bunch of guys with two guys with black pants and white shirt, Scientologist outfits, right? Not saying they're Scientologists, who knows, right? And then there was another guy who I found out to be a private investigator, and they were by my house. So I told him to drive past, right? So he drove past, he parked. And I'm like, damn, why are they in front of my house? But the crazy thing before that, somebody sent a picture of the front of my door in my apartment and texted to me from a number, right? With nothing. So I put two to two together. I'm like, damn, they might be out to get me, right? So we're driving one afternoon, and while we're driving through that afternoon, a car pulled up with a guy with a mask on, right? And tries to run my boy off the road. So he's trying to not, because in Colombia, you have a lot of freeway parts, but you also have a part like there's no barriers. So you could, somebody make a wrong turn, you down there.
Because it's mountain.
Yeah, so so the car is, so my assistant trying to hitting the other car so we don't go on a barrier. So the guy put the gas on, boom, right? One of the people that I saw, even with the mask, I'm able to see it was one of the people that was at my apartment. So we rolled down the embankment, right? Glass breaking, everything. Like I could hear oh man, it was bad, right? So by the time I get myself together, I look over, my man got a big piece of glass like this stuck in his head, right? It's about this long, because the windshield broke when we was tumbling down. So finally the police came, the ambulance came, they took me to the doctor. So now my back is messed up, I gotta have black surgery, and then my knee. I have to have knee surgery, yeah. So
How is the driver?
How is he? He still got brain damage. He still got brain, I'm responsible for this guy now. He still has brain.
Bilal further says he has filed a civil harassment lawsuit against Jada Pinkett Smith. According to him, his goal is for the civil action to potentially open the door to a criminal investigation, as he alleges there may be other victims who were paid to remain silent. If even a portion of these claims were true, the implications would be deeply disturbing. Around the same period, yet another high-profile case made headlines. Filmmaker and mogul Tyler Perry was sued again, this time by actor Mario Rodriguez. who alleges that Tyler crossed serious personal boundaries during a professional working relationship.
I stayed quiet for much too long. I could have saved somebody that this probably happened to after me, but I do apologize, and I'm speaking up now.
Mario Rodriguez claims that Tyler Perry made unwanted advances and leveraged his power and influence to place him in uncomfortable and inappropriate situations while he was employed.
His quote, Mr. Perry told him, "You have a lot of trauma in you, and believe it or not, we have a lot in common." Mr. Perry told Mr. Rodriguez to stand up and said, "Come here, man, let me hug you." Mr. Perry hugged Mr. Rodriguez and said, "It's not your fault." Now listen to this, quote, "In the moment, Mr. Rodriguez could not help but feel that Mr. Perry was trying to reenact the famous scene between Matt Damon and Robin Williams from the acclaimed 1997 movie Good Will Hunting." Now, if you haven't seen Good Will Hunting, first of all, you should. It's a great movie. But if you haven't, it's a very famous therapy scene where Robin Williams' character repeatedly tells Matt Damon's character, who had been abused in the past, that it's not your fault, pulling him into a hug. There's a really big emotional breakdown. And it's meant to be this moment of deep vulnerability and release, which is why you're having this alleged comparison. It stands out. And I will say that level of unique specificity, that can arguably help with credibility if this goes to trial and Rodriguez takes the stand. It's like so strange and so specific. Could he really make this up? Maybe, maybe not. But you go from there. The complaint describes this encounter taking a turn. This is when, according to Rodriguez, it turns physically invasive, with Perry then allegedly rubbing Rodriguez's shoulders and his chest and making comments. And when Rodriguez sits back down, he claims that Perry sat next to him and began rubbing his inner thigh. Now, Rodriguez claims that he then got up and excused himself, but the suit quotes, or allegedly quotes, Perry as being persistent, saying, "Just relax. I promise I'm a good guy to know and have in your corner. You just need to relax and stop being so..."
Mario is represented by the same attorney as another accuser, Derek Dixon, and is reportedly seeking a substantial financial settlement. As the saying goes, what is hidden eventually comes to light. When individuals with significant power are accused of abusing their influence, exposure often follows. Adding to the growing chorus of voices, Jaguar Wright recently spoke out again, this time focusing on Bryce Gray and what she believes happened to him behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. Her comments were emotional and intense, centered on a single message. She wants Bryce to step forward and tell his story publicly.
And when I say Andy, I'm talking about Bryshere's mom. I'm going to kick you in your pussy and then I'm going to go to work North Philly style, bitch. Fuck you. And Charlie, you happy now? He's a gay porn star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell? I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life and what you had to do with it. You fucking CI.
Do you feel this is...
That came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the fuck away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Bryshere, to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago State to be ready for filming. She knew she knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is she wasn't nothing but a drug dealer's whore. That's all she...
Jaguar further alleged that Bryce was exposed to drugs and extreme pressure at a young age, despite known mental health challenges. She questioned how adults and guardians around him could have allowed such conditions, arguing that Bryce lacked the power and agency to protect himself at that stage of his life.
She can snitch on whoever she needed to snitch on until she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bryshere in $1 million home. Your whole book is fucking lies, Andy. And I hope anybody that bought it asks for a fucking refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gate.
Yeah, let me ask you. Today the U.S.
That
yeah, no, we gonna pray for Mr. Gray, man. If he needs prayer, I don't even know what's
See,
going
they're
on.
trying to sleep him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson and Johnson. You just come on, come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
Oh.
All that talent, and they and she let Charlie tune that boy up on coke, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what.
During the discussion, Jaguar suggested that Bryce is now being publicly humiliated deliberately. In her view, this is meant to discourage him from pursuing legal action against powerful figures. She also claimed that recordings and other evidence may exist related to Bryce's experiences, though none of this has been proven. Jaguar emphasized that the focus should not be on shaming Bryce, but on safeguarding young people in the industry. She stated that many adults, in her opinion, were aware of what was happening and chose silence. According to Jaguar, she believes Will Smith failed to adequately protect young individuals who were under his influence or care at various points.
As far as Will Smith is concerned, until he does right by all of those children that were harmed and corrupted while in his care, children that grew up to be men, boys like Bryshere Gray, August Alsina, your own son. Like, your own son. Do people forget about that voice clip that I played from Brother Belial?
Hey.
Has anybody seen Belial?
Come on.
I asked him, didn't I ask for him last year?
Come on.
Where's Belial? Is he missing with Cuba? Have they all moved to Bali with Russell Simmons and Kevin Liles?
I would always say it is interesting when you speak on, Jaden Smith and you see the hug with Justin. With
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber, and then for Bryshere, you see him all of a sudden fighting over Sydney Starr with Eddie Winslow. It does question what happens in the entertainment industry that makes someone go into just being very close with men on men contact.
When speaking specifically about Bryce Gray, Jaguar said she believes his current behavior reflects a desire to be accepted once again by the very industry she claims harmed him. She alleged that powerful figures continue to make promises, telling him his breakthrough moment is just around the corner, while never providing meaningful help for healing or long-term stability.
They gonna keep gaslighting you and playing with you, promising you one thing or another. Not now. Just next year's gonna be your time. You need to get yourself out there. You need to.
Jack, I have a question. So we speak about you dealing with the Illuminati and having ties and things like that and denouncing it. Can you tell me
Outrage.
one of the things that they promised you that would
And now
happen?
they're watching him become a fallen one. like a comet speeding. How long before he decides it's time to cash out now? How long? Because the one thing I will say is this. Anything happens to that young man, better not nobody say a word to me.
Ultimately, none of these stories are easy to process. They involve influential names, grave allegations, and individuals who say they were harmed behind closed doors. Some of these matters are now in court, others remain unverified claims. Yet a recurring question persists. How many people noticed the warning signs and chose silence instead? And will those accused ever be held accountable for what they allegedly did?